get this book. It'll be really useful. I liked it a lot. If you want to make your kid good with money, whether or not you are good with money, today I am reviewing Beth Kobliner's Make Your Kid a Money Genius. And this book is actually really good if you never received a financial education growing up and you kind of feel that, but you're really scared of other personal finance books because they're using jargon and things, and this is like the little kiddie pool compared to adult personal finance, like Olympic-sized pool. My name is Kate Moody. You can call me Ms. Moody. I am your money librarian, here to explain to you how money works so you can outsmart your money, have more savings, more fun, and less stress. This book has a few strengths. It doesn't use any jargon. Like, I think she really did a good job of laying out these money concepts for people, so even if you aren't comfortable with money or don't think you're good with money, you will be able to teach your kids these other things. In the book, she has 6 different age groups that she specifically gives actionable steps, things you can do in a day-to-day basis to teach them personal finance lessons. The age groups are preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and young adult. One of the reasons that I really like this book is that the way it's structured, it gives you just actionable, everyday stuff you can do with your kids to teach them foundational, fundamental personal finance lessons. One, delay gratification. 2, think long term. 3, I have to check my notes. Live within your means. And don't try to keep up with the Joneses. None of those have to do with math or financial products or like weird jargon. All of those things are just general concepts. But once you get them, all the other pieces fall into place. For example, when your kid is in preschool, you can just be at the grocery store, like with a milk bottle in one hand and a little toy that they were begging for in the other, and being like, need or want? If the family can only have one of these things this whole week, which one should it be? As their 10-year-old, if they're begging for a pair of shoes and they're dying for these like $150 pair of shoes, you can say, okay, I will give you $150 that you can spend in that store, and you can either buy those shoes or you can buy $150 worth of other stuff in that store. Huh? Now, you aren't the bad guy because they had the option to get the shoes. If they decide not to get the shoes, that's on them. It makes them make that hard decision that we do every day, every single time we spend money. Do I really need all of these lipsticks? Yes. Or should I use this for groceries? Get them thinking about this stuff early, and then it'll be easier for them down the line, and they'll make better decisions. She also recommends, let your kids fail every once in a while. It is incredibly effective method of learning to fail, because you'd rather have them fail with $200 when they're 14 than $2,000 when they're 24. Let them fail while they have the safety net of your home and of you caring. They're not going to get evicted from your home, hopefully. They're not going to not be able to eat. It's a great time to learn these money lessons. I have worked with too many students, and I've known too many people who did stupid stuff in their 20s that they wish they hadn't have done, and that really hurt them. Don't let your kids be one of those, even if you were, especially if you were. All of these lessons, starting from very young children through young adults, build on top of each other. And so it's kind of like a natural progression. It's effective because it just uses everyday moments as teachable moments. The thing with personal finance education is that unless it's applicable to you right now, you don't care. If you're watching this book review, chances are you have a kid and you want them to be smart about money. You're not watching this just for fun. I mean, maybe you are. That'd be kind of weird. I've got better videos for you. Oh, that sounds dirty. Anyways, personal finance education is a point of need product. You only look for it when you need it. So by incorporating these into everyday life, just a little bit of education every single day, just a little bit. And before you know it, they're doing really great. If you follow these steps that are very age appropriate, very easy to integrate into everyday life, I believe your child will have a far less likely chance of having these emotional hangups and negative feelings surrounding money, which do not do well in the long term, maybe you can sympathize with that idea. If you know a parent who's been struggling with this kind of information, how to teach their kids about money, be sure to send them a link to this video. It has 10 chapters. The first chapter is just 14 rules for how to have a conversation about money. A lot of times, people, maybe you know a lot about money, but you just don't know how to talk to your kids about money. It's hard, it's complicated. There are so many emotional issues that go on with money. I mean, just guilt, shame, judgment, fear, so much emotional baggage comes with money. I get it, why parents don't want to talk to their kids about it, but you need to. So she gives you 14 rules, things like start early, because kids as young as 3 understand the concept of money. To use actual numbers, not just to say, this thing is too expensive, we can't afford it. To say, hey, that thing is $20. We normally get the one that's $4. We're not going to buy that one because we could buy 5 of the normal ones for the same price as that one. Use actual numbers. And she even gives you some tips for what not to do, one of which is don't get into money fights in front of your kids. Have money fights behind closed doors. Each chapter is sort of one foundational concept about personal finance. Okay, what are they? First chapter, save money. And in this one, she touches on 2 of like the fundamental ideas about good personal finance. Delay gratification. Yeah, you could have a little something today, but you could have a lot of something a little bit down the road if you just delay gratification. 2, think long term. And that kind of goes hand in hand with that whole delay gratification thing, right? Think long term. If you're lucky, you'll retire someday. You better start preparing for that. The next chapter is about learning a good work ethic. To teach your kids how to get satisfaction from a job well done. And she says, like, don't tie kids' allowance to their chores. She goes into the reasons why. I thought that was really interesting. She makes a very good case for why you shouldn't tie those 2 things together. She also talks about how being rich is a terrible career goal and that there is tremendous value in loving your work and getting an emotional satisfaction from your work, even if you could get paid more doing something else. Now, of course, there's all kinds of caveats to that sort of statement. You know, if you love your $8 an hour job, but you could be making $800,000 a year doing a job you hate, do the job you hate for 3 years, and then do the one you love for the rest of your life because you'll be independently wealthy at that point. Then she talks about dropping debt, which goes into another foundational personal finance issue. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses, because that'll just keep you poor. After that, she talks about insurance, the importance of taking care of your stuff, and about protecting yourself from big losses. The next chapter, all about investing and making sure that your money doesn't lose value over time due to... Try that again. That your money doesn't lose value over time due to inflation. Chapter 8 is all about giving back, teaching your kids empathy, and that you should give money to charity and help others. I know, crazy idea, right? Help others. Empathy? Huh? And the last chapter is actually kind of more for you, the parents, about going to college. And, okay, so I am someone who spent over a decade working in higher education. I love higher education. I think education is an incredible method of creating serious transformation in your life. No such thing as time wasted when you're getting a good education. That said, it bugs me that everybody thinks that you need a 4-year degree. You don't need a 4-year degree. You can have a fantastic life, make good money, be a totally smart person, and not have a 4-year degree. But I guess it's just who she's talking to, right? Beth Kobliner's point is that going to school directly increases your capacity for earning. True, but it's not for everybody. The last chapter is all financial advice for you, the parent. You have people who are dependent on you. What are the financial bases you need to be covering in case something should happen? So there are things like having a will, power of attorneys, blah, 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 and saving for retirement and investing and stuff. Like, don't put off your retirement to save for your kids' college. Because there's money for kids to go to school. There isn't money for you to be retired. And you don't want to be a financial burden on your kids when you are retired because you spent your money putting them through school. She does have a whole section on books for further reading, which is beautiful. They're great suggestions. Now I have more books on my list, as if I needed any more books on my list. Those are all the things that you will learn by reading this book. How to teach your kids that stuff. So your kids are going to be little smarty pantses, when it comes to money at least. I can't promise your kids are going to be actually like smart. But even if your kid is stupid, they can still be a money genius. Maybe not. I do recommend this book. It really is a reference book. It's something you're going to want to go back to kind of over and over and over again, because you'll read the lessons for when they're five, and then, 10 years later when they're 15, you're still going to need the books. Actually, I do recommend that you buy it, but you can get it from your public library, like I did. I have an Amazon link down below. If you use it, then I will get a pathetically tiny little fraction of that, which helps to fund my channel and all of these educational videos. So I would appreciate it if you're going to buy it through Amazon, if you could use that link. I also have a link to your public library, so you can click, get it for free from the public library, read it first, read that version first, see if you like it, and then you can decide to go buy a copy or not. Overall, this is a super useful reference book that will help turn your kid into a little Doogie House or MD rather than like a Hillary Banks from Fresh Prince. Or maybe I should use like a Carlton. Like they'll be more like Carlton and less like Hillary Banks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe. Cheers! My librarian take on this book. I go into a lot of detail on my blog post about what to look for in an author to see if there's somebody that you should actually be spending your time listening to, aka their authority. Quick and dirty for this. Look for 3 things. 1, subject expertise. Have they studied this formally, like a formal education on the topic? 2, their societal position. What is their job, or what do they do? Like, is there any particular expertise they would have gleaned from their work? 3, did they take part of a major historic event? Like, Stonewall riots. Okay, that's a good thing. The major starting event of the gay rights movement. Maybe somebody never studied gay rights. It's not like they have a job doing this kind of thing. But if they were freaking at Stonewall, that makes them a subject expert in that particular event. Ha! I found a good one. Although I don't believe she has any formal education in the topic, she is a well-seasoned personal finance journalist. And of all the impressive things that she has done, feather in her cap, gigantic feather in her cap as a matter of fact, she was on Sesame Street. What? Explaining personal finance. Amazing. She's somebody we should be listening to when it comes to personal finance. Read the blog post for the full breakdown of why she is a subject expert. Oh, librarian tip, her citations are gorgeous. First off, she has citations. That's important. Most importantly, they're good citations. She's not just referencing some schmo blogger on the net who has no authority whatsoever. She's referencing actually reputable journals, reputable news outlets, a lot of government data, which is really well done. So, good citations.